Hello and welcome back to HRC Online's Bitesize with me, Dan Wilbeck. This is for AC2.1 in the unit 3002. If you are not covering AC2.1 response at the moment, this is the wrong place for you to look at, but please stick around if you feel necessary. So what's the question for this? Which is explain people professionals creating value for people, organization, and wider stakeholders. But what are the key points? So we're looking to explain, which is what we've used consistently throughout this unit, how people professionals create value for other people, other organizations, and other wider stakeholders. The reason that I am saying this in three separate parts is because these are the three key areas that we will be addressing, each of which involve a cheeky S that we call a HRC online. And that is where CIPD add extra S's in for you to do more work, essentially for you to add more reasonings why. So organizations and wider stakeholders. So let's look at the action points. First of all, the verb, which is explain. We want to describe the nature, scope, or meaning of something. In action point 1, we want you to explain the role that people professionals play in value creation for the people. Action point 2 is the value for organizations. And action point 3 is the value for wider stakeholders. People professionals do not always communicate how well they link people practice to business practice. So this is the question where we do so, essentially. What value does HR create into an organization? The answer is a lot. However, sometimes we don't always say, this is what we're so good at, or this is how we help this to help this, and so on. So this could be evidenced through many examples. For example, talent management, so supporting a robust selection criteria for hiring new employees. Could look at onboarding, so ensuring that efficient onboarding and socialization of new employees so people know who to speak to. We've got development of capability and competencies and talent management as well, which is developing employee capability throughout the employment journey. We could look at benefits and rewards, so ensuring fair performance and rewards. We could even look at harmonious employee relations, well-being, and attaining high engagement, and so on. The list goes on. They're just some examples of how value is added from HR. With this unit 3002, you have around 250 words per question. With there being 3 action points in total to tackle, then I would say around about 70 words each action point here. So what resources are we going to provide you with? Like we say, we provide you as many as we can to kickstart your journey of further reading, but these aren't the only resources that exist. There is a CIPD report that exists called People and the Creation of Value, why organizations need to up their game in understanding, measuring, and leveraging human capital. And this ties into what I said before in terms of HR people not really selling themselves and saying, this is how I add value. And this report by the CIPD is saying how organizations or why organizations need to do that. There's also a podcast as well by CIPD, which talks about what value does HR bring to today's organization. That's because the world of HR is always changing. So how they add value to the organization now versus 5 years ago is completely different. So take a peek at that. And then lastly, AI HR, which is the Dutch version of CIPD, but it's credited all across the world and in English as well. And they look at the value chain of HR, which is an essential tool for adding value to HR. And again, as I've said consistently, it's about that. How do HR create value? Which is just said and spoken about in so many different ways. Okay, with the best part of Bitesize, in my opinion, is talking about our situations. And we love to have a little guessing game with these images. So whilst I tell you about this hypothetical situation, have a guess of what that image is. So the reason that we give this situation to you is just so you can understand it from a different perspective of coming outside of your shoes and seeing how it's done maybe elsewhere. So you can put that into perspective and see it from that other angle. Okay, I won't leave you any longer. So this image is the world's largest glow sticks, and it looks like an accumulation of glow sticks here. So we're going to Globally Gigantic Glow Sticks, which is a global company that is set out to make glow sticks on a truly global scale. So we've got Agnes, who's our head of people. She was in a bind. Sales were plummeting, employees were grumbling, mostly about the questionable aroma emanating from the glow stick factory, but even the glowworm population was low. Vital for their bioluminescent production process seemed to be staging a revolt. Agnes, however, was a seasoned professional. She knew that simply producing more glow sticks wasn't the answer. She needed to create value. First, she tackled that people part. She introduced Glow Stick Fridays, where employees could experiment with new glow stick designs, resulting in some truly bizarre creations, including glow sticks shaped like a badger playing the banjo. This boosted morale and sparked innovation. She also implemented a glowworm appreciation week, complete with tiny glowworm-sized hammocks and miniature glow stick-powered bug zappers, purely for show, of course, but this improved relations with the fauna. And a local newspaper who ran a heartwarming story about interspecies harmony. Next, Agnes focused on the organization. The employee-led innovation resulted in the Mega Glow, which was a glow stick so bright that it could be seen from space, and accidentally caused a brief UFO scare. But this product became a global sensation, boosting the sales and turned globally gigantic glow sticks into a marketing leader. The improved employee morale also led to an increased productivity and dramatic reduction in glow stick-related accidents, mostly involved in misplaced glow sticks and startled badges. Finally, Agnes considered the wider stakeholders as well. The Mega Glow, besides its incredibly being bright, it was also incredibly energy efficient. This reduced the company's carbon footprint and earned them an Eco Glow award. The company also stated donating a portion of their profits to Glowworms Without Borders, which was a charity dedicated to protecting glowworms and their habitats worldwide. Meanwhile, Brenda Bumble, from the head of marketing at Blinky Bright Bulbs, which is their biggest competitor, was still trying to solve her company's problem by launching a new line of glow sticks shaped like famous historical figures. They glowed, but they didn't sell. The moral of this story here is just like Agnes didn't focus on making more glow sticks, people professionals create that value by focusing on the human side of organizations. And that element is the need within organizations and how that has a wider impact on the world. Agnes's actions demonstrate how people professionals create that value. She doesn't just manage HR. She strategically addresses the needs of the employees, which are the people, the company, the organization, and even the glowworms and the environment, which is the wider stakeholders. By improving the morale, fostering innovation, and boosting productivity, this enhanced the company's reputation. She created a value that went far beyond simply producing glow sticks. Brenda, on the other hand, only focused on the product. They had a glow stick that was shaped like Napoleon. Good for them. But they ignored the crucial elements, leading to her company's continued struggles. People professionals act as a bridge, connecting these different stakeholders and ensuring that everybody benefits. So the next time someone says to you, HR doesn't add value, I want you to think about Agnes and how she changed their world with her glow sticks. But that's all we've got time for today with AC 2.2. And I hope to see you on the next bite size, which is for AC 2.2, and the final bite size for task 1. Thanks, everyone.